can do better than that. You can do better than that. Amazing, amazing, amazing. If you did not understand what is happening on stage, we will have translation for that later in the evening. Yeah, you can also scan the QR code. It will tell you what exactly that dance meant. Yeah, I saw some people very confused. Should I clap? What should I do? Don't worry, don't worry. Again, I'd like to just say a huge welcome to each one of you. And on behalf of the organizers, it's a great honor to welcome you to the 12th edition of the Forum on Internet Freedom in Africa. We're here in the beautiful city of Windhoek, Namibia. Some people call it Windhoek. It depends on how many times you visited. Since it is my first visit, I will go with Windhoek. And I think, when I come here the second or third time, I can then say Windhoek, and whichever way it is pronounced. You have been very, very gracious hosts. Ladies and gentlemen, I know, at least to this point, clapping is not a culture here, but let us clap for our generous hosts. So whether you're seated here in the hall physically and enjoying the atmosphere, or you're joining us virtually, you are part of this community and we want to welcome you. So that we stay in touch, so that we are all part of this movement, so that we are telling people here and beyond about what's going on in this room. We have hashtags that we shall be using. If you could just look on your, now this is called a lanyard, but you can call it whatever you want to call it. The string holding your name tag, it has the hashtags. So please, use the hashtags when you're posting on social media and wherever else, so that that conversation can be picked up. Allow me to also acknowledge our gracious co-hosts, the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology of the Republic of Namibia. I think it's a good point to give them a clap. Especially if you needed a visa. If you needed a visa, you really need to clap because you did us well. That code, I entered the code, I pressed send, and just as it told me send, I got a reply telling me my visa was approved. I'm like, wow, this is efficiency. Well, thank you again. I was going to say something about my country and visa approvals, but I have seen an MP, a member of parliament, and a former minister. So my jokes about Uganda have now ended. I want to be able to go back home. We'd also like to acknowledge Namibia Internet Governance Forum, and of course our conveners, Cipesa. Thank you very much for convening this space. We also thank all our partners and supporters whose names will appear on the screen, and even if they don't, at a certain point somebody that is more organized than me will come and mention each of our supporters. But I'd like to say to our supporters, without your backing, we would not be here. This is one of the few conferences where I know I don't have to pay an attendance fee. And that is because of our generous supporters. So thank you very much. You might want to clap for them, otherwise no lunch for you. I wish to recognize all the dignitaries that are here with us, those that decided to come physically. We do not take your presence for granted. If you're wondering where the dignitaries are, like I said, a more organized person will come and say their names. I'm sure by now you've realized that, yeah, in that area I'm not doing too well. But if you look at the front line, the first line usually has the dignitaries. But whether you are a minister, head of delegation, we recognize you, and at an appropriate time we will, we will mention your name. Like I mentioned, this is the 12th edition, and FIFA has been to a number of countries. We've been to Uganda, South Africa, Ethiopia, Zambia, Ghana, Senegal, Namibia. And for some people here, you have been to all 12. Could you please put your hand up if you've been to all 12? Huh. I am sure there's one or two people that have been to, there's one person there. Where is another? Okay, who has been to 11? 10. So you stand at the back if you've been to 10. That's why. 9, 8. No, if you put up for 11, you don't have to put up for 10, 9, 8, 7. You will go all the way to. If you've been to more than 5. If you've been to more than 5. Yeah. Serial conference attendees, we see you. No. You are the ones who have created the momentum that has brought us to this 12th one. So we recognize you. If this is your first, don't worry. We will make you feel at home. We will simplify the language. No, I'm saying that for myself. I need simplified language. And we're going to have a wonderful time. You are a part of a movement. What started as just a small convening is now a movement. And I want you to commit to being to the 13th because it will be there. We convene today at a very critical time in the world, but particularly a critical time for Africa, where the digital landscape, yes, is expanding, but it also has challenges. I did mention internet shutdowns earlier on. I will not say more. We have an election in January in Uganda. Data exploitation, harmful content, shrinking civic space. These continue to test internet freedom. So when we convene like we have here over these couple of days, we commit to doing something about it. And so your voice is going to be very important in the room and outside the room to expand the digital space, to expand the enjoyment of digital freedom for all. Just allow me to point out a few housekeeping rules and our code of conduct. If it isn't ready on the screen, I will just point out one or two things. If you'd like the program, there's actually an application we are using for the forum. Now, what's an internet freedom space without an app? So if you don't have the app, shame on you. Again, you can scan and you'll be able to download the app. In fact, the app helped me to tell me that there was a run yesterday. That's how I ended up joining it. The app will be very helpful in just sending you notifications and reminders. And if you don't know where to go at a certain point, just go on the app. It has all that information. There is Wi-Fi all over the space that we shall be using. And if you'd like a Wi-Fi password, if it's not on the screen, there is a Cipesa desk that will be able to help you. Safety and logistics, please. This venue was chosen because it's convenient and it has the facilities that almost guarantee, a good conference. But your involvement in security is key. So please be aware of your surroundings, stay safe, and keep your neighbors safe. We have emergency exits, and they are well labeled, and we do not expect that we shall have any issues. But just in case you need some help, whether it's first aid or any other help, just go to the Cipesa desk. Social media, I told you we're using 2 hashtags, FIFA Africa, and let me find the second one. FIFA Africa 25. Come on, help me. You're going to wait for me to find it, huh? All right, I can't find the second one, but I know I have it written somewhere. But if you do scan this, you will be able to see both hashtags. For the breaks, our refreshments will be out in the corridor. And for the restrooms, whether you use the exit on my left or on my right, all you have to do is move in that direction And if you went to the left and you move to that direction, you then turn right. If you went to the right and you move in that direction, then turn left. The restrooms are labeled correctly. And I apologize to the Kenyans because earlier I said if you would like Swahili translation, just go in the direction, and where you find the restrooms is where Swahili translation is. Kenyans have already said mean things about me online. I apologize. It was a joke. Whereas I have said many things here, I definitely do not stand, or I do not have the authority to give the official welcome. I did mention our hosts and our co-hosts, and I'd like to invite them. I will be inviting some people to the stage to do the official welcome and opening. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in inviting first to the stage a representative from the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology of Namibia to come and give welcome remarks.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, colleagues, and feel welcome to Namibia. My name is Franz Ngitila. I'm here representing our minister, Honorable Emma Theophilus, who is equally also engaged at some other platforms. She delegated me to come and welcome you all. In fact, before I start my speech, let me wholeheartedly really appreciate the organizers of this event, because as a country, it puts us back again on a world stage in areas of information management and dissemination. You might recall in 1993, soon after we got our independence, we were also a place to host the conference that eventually led to the declaration of the World Press Freedom Day by the UN member states. Also equally so, and in recognition of the 30th anniversaries of that declaration, soon after COVID 2021, we were also the first to host the world communities right here. And that was a time when countries and people were afraid of coming together. And we were the first to host that hybrid conference that eventually led to the formation of what we call Window 30 Declaration. That declaration calls on governments to create an enabling environment for the media to do their job unhindered. And of course, if I continue, the list goes on. That's why today really, I remember when the two colleagues, I think came from Uganda, they had an engagement with our ministry, and then we agreed that Namibia as a country, we will remain ready to host you colleagues. That's why it's very, very important, and for us, it's an opportunity. And in fact, when my brother was talking about Uganda, I want to say he should start talking about Namibia. We will close the border, you will remain here. Again, on a light note, we are such a huge country with little population. We are somewhere 3 point. So everybody has space. And also, feel free. I think we are lucky because we are known as very, very peaceful people. Of course, there are isolated incidents of robbery and all that, but our environment, I can assure you, you must feel home. You must feel free. That's how we are. Let me go back to my speech. Yeah. As I said earlier, I am delegated here. Let me first and foremost welcome Dr. Waragara Wakabi. Names are always a problem. The director or executive director of Cipesa. Also, Ms. Albertina Spener, the chairperson of the Namibia Internet Governance Forum, the esteemed representatives from various institutions, from government, and from all other parts of the world that have a stake in this gathering. Let me welcome all of you here. Thank you. So on behalf of government and the people of Namibia, it's my honor and privilege to welcome you to Window for the 12th edition of the Forum of Internet Freedom in Africa, also known as FIFA Africa. We are deeply proud to host this gathering in our capital city, a city that has long been a meeting point of ideas and now a hub for dialogue on the future of our continent's digital society. Namibia's own digital journey has been one of the deliberate ambition and evolving commitments from government. As a nation, we have recognized that technology is not a luxury, but a necessity for inclusive development, democratic governance, and sustainable growth. Our efforts, such as the 6th National Development Plan, we call it NDP 6, and our National Digital Strategy seek to ensure that ICT are embedded across every sector of our policy orientations, including education, healthcare, agriculture, and public service delivery. That is our ambition. Recently, we also made key move forward with comprehensive legislation to govern artificial intelligence and digital safety, including the development of the draft AI bill, the data protection bill, and also cybercrime bill. These are our policy priority areas as a country. These developments are all part of our broader digital transformation strategy aimed at modernizing governance and managing emerging technological risks. Ultimately, we are laying the foundation for a digital economy that serves our people by connecting unconnected, fostering local innovation, and strengthening trust in digital governance. This is, of course, not without challenges. Namibia, like many of our African neighbors, must also admit and be content with the digital divide, the affordability of services, and the risk posed by dissemination and misinformation, and of course, online harms and intimidation. Our recent efforts are a response to the realities as we strengthen our policies and build resilience governance framework. And as a ministry, our aim remains clear on the creation of digital environments that reflect and respond to the interest of our citizens, upholding their rights and amplifies their voices. This extends to visitors who cross our borders, including many of whom are gathered here today. Like what my brother was saying, you remain connected everywhere you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Namibia's ambitions are inseparable from broader African digital ecosystem. Frameworks such as the African Union Digital Transformation Strategy 2020-2030, the Policy Regulatory Initiative for Digital Africa, the Continental AI Strategy. These are all policy initiatives that give us a roadmap for a future that is inclusive and right-based. Beyond policies and strategies, of course, lies the people of this great continent, especially the youth. They are shaping and reshaping the digital landscape every day. In Namibia, for example, we see young innovators and entrepreneurs using technology to solve pressing social challenges, such as improving climate-smart agriculture, to build startups that create jobs and unlock economic opportunities. Of course, across Africa, we are also witnessing citizens demanding accountability online and connecting in a way that reinforces democracy and civic participation. This people-centered energy is what makes gatherings such as this one a very, very important platform. It also reflected in the ambition of solo baker ride across 10 African countries, including Namibia, which is meant to highlight the practice of digital safety. It also reflected in the online community supporting the forum, and indeed through those who have journeyed across main borders, airports, and all over. As a ministry, we are pleased to support this gathering alongside the collaboration with Cipesa and to live up to the spirit of the community of the Internet Freedom Africa. We also acknowledge the role that this forum has played over the years in convening diverse voices, shaping digital policy, amplifying African perspective on global debates. It also serves as a platform for the unveiling of digital democracy for Africa. And here in Windhoek, which resonates with our commitment for technology in Africa to serve people first, uphold their dignity, protect their rights, and advance inclusion. And here, I must as well just highlight that for the last 5 consecutive years, Namibia has been ranked either number 1 or number 2 in terms of press freedom. We are guided by, yes, last year, for example, we were overtaken by Seychelles because they decriminalized defamation law. But then we came number 2. This year, we were overtaken by South Africa. We came number 2. But again, and take note, Seychelles that took us last year, this year they came number 59. Yeah? And South Africa, that is number 1, they occupy number 27. We took number 28. And then yes, let me end there. So we are on course and we are deliberate about it. In other words, creating enabling environment, it's one of our priority area that we strive to achieve as government. So on the premise of technology serving our people first comes first, the question of data, of course, is a challenge. The data on African continent is highly sought after product. And think about natural resources that we have as a country. You see, these days, with the technology, you don't do mineral research as we used to do. You just see planes passing through, but they are looking underground, checking where your minerals are. And they are gathering data, and they use it at their own advantage and at their own time. So that's why it's critical as government and as a host, Namibia is honored to contribute to this important journey. We believe that internet freedom is not only about connectivity, but also about opportunity, the evolution and the growth as societies and people. We're now talking about 4th industrial revolution. And with that arrival comes so many challenges. So it is about ensuring that our continent's digital future is forged by Africans, for Africans, and in line with the aspiration of what we call and what we know Agenda 2063 of the African Union, that of course advocates for a free society comprises of all Africans, where the silence of the gun will be prevailing. It's one of those goals in 2063 agenda. So, in conclusion, colleagues, let this forum be a moment of renewal and commitment. Let's be a space where it meets action, where research informs policy, and where collaboration turns challenges into opportunities. Together, we can build a digital Africa that is open, inclusive, secure, and truly democratic. And mind you, as we are enjoying these technological setups, most particularly our young people, they fall victims with the arrival of this technology. That's why as government, we have, and my minister just launched what we call responsible use of social media, where we are trying to educate our people that with technology comes the danger. So with those colleagues, feel home, feel welcome. Namibia is your home, irrespective, and we welcome you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If you do not feel welcome, it is your problem. I feel very welcome after those remarks. And quite frankly, I'm very proud to associate with Namibia. I don't know when I last heard an official speak and focus on the people so much. Namibia is really focused on the people and highlighting the young people. And that for me is very, very exciting. So where do I get my national ID? I hope it comes with that piece of land that you talked about. Yeah, you don't tell a Ugandan about free land and they don't use the opportunity. So I'm going to follow up. I'd like now to invite from the Namibia Internet Governance Forum, Albertine Chipena, to come and give opening remarks.
A blessed good morning to everyone. Allow me to stand on the already established protocols. As mentioned, my name is Albertine Chipena, and I'm the chairperson for the Namibian Internet Governance Forum. It is truly my distinct honor, on behalf of the NAM IGF, which is Namibian Internet Governance Forum in short, to warmly welcome you to the Forum on Internet Freedom in Africa 2025, here in Namibia. I would like to extend a special warm welcome to our distinguished guests who have traveled from far just to be here with us today. Welcome to Windhoek, the capital city of Namibia, the city of many faces. I truly hope you had the opportunity to drive through, to walk, and just to get to experience the beautiful city that we have and enjoy the diverse culture and the warmth that we Namibian people are known for. Hosting the FIFA 25 is not just a milestone for Namibia, but also an opportunity to affirm our commitment to advancing digital rights, fostering open governance, and building an inclusive digital future for all of us. This year's theme for the Namibian Internet Governance Forum is securing a digital ecosystem. And this theme speaks directly to the mission of FIFA. At its core, it reminds us that the digital rights and freedom can only thrive in an environment where trust, safety, and accountability are prioritized. In securing our ecosystem, we are not only protecting our infrastructure, but also safeguarding human dignity, privacy, and the right to a meaningful participation online. This gathering wouldn't have been possible if it was not for a strong partnership between MICT, Cipesa, NAM IGF, and all our partners who were displayed on the screen. Thank you very much for making this possible for all of us. Together, we are able to bring voices, expertise, and perspective from across Africa in one room in order to shape a meaningful change. At the heart of FIFA is the belief that internet should serve everyone, and that requires dialogue that bridges networks, ideas, and individuals. This multi-stakeholder approach is essential to shaping policies that upholds human rights online and protect the open internet that we all rely on. As NAM IGF, we are committed to fostering collaborations. NAM IGF's greatest contributions go beyond just hosting conversation. It's about reshaping the table itself. It's about who gets to be in the room, what issues take center stage, and how Namibia positions itself in the digital policy space. Through NAM IGF, participants gain valuable knowledge on key internet governance issues, such as your data privacy, digital rights, cybersecurity, child online protection, your accessibility, affordability, and digital literacy. This then builds for us a local capacity and empowers more people to actively contribute to Namibia's growing digital economy and as a society. The internet is no longer just as a tool, as we have come to know it. It has become the backbone of our economy. It has become the backbone of our education, of our security, and our daily lives. So if you are not on the table helping to shape it, it means you are letting others decide for you. And NAM IGF, which is a Namibian Internet Governance Forum, gives you that opportunity to be on the table. I then therefore encourage everyone or anyone in the room to reach out to our team, as we are open to partnerships that strengthens and support our shared goals of building a secure, inclusive, and right-respecting digital ecosystem for all. As we engage in the sessions ahead and the one that we have had during the week, let us be bold in our conversations, united in purpose, and committed to creating a digital space that are safe, inclusive, and empowering for all Africans. On behalf of NAM IGF, I once again would like to welcome you to Namibia and welcome you to FIFA 25. May this forum inspire actions. May it bring together strong partnerships and leave a lasting impact on the future of internet freedom across our beloved continent. I thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have heard from the Namibia Ministry of ICT and Namibia Internet Governance Forum. That only leaves one of the partners. Yes, your guess is as good as mine. That is Cipesa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage representative from Cipesa, Lilian Alwoga. She was wondering what useless thing I was going to say before she comes. No, I am behaving myself because I am expecting pay, and I am told you are the person paying.
Thank you, Gilbert. I'm glad you're being nice to me because you know what happens next. Good morning, bonjour, habari za subuhi, wapenduka, Namibia. I hope I did not butcher the last one. I've been practicing. Ladies and gentlemen, the representatives from the Ministry of ICT, the representatives from the EU delegation in Namibia, honorable members of parliament, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, welcome to Namibia. Welcome to the 12th Forum on Internet Freedom in Africa. Welcome to growing the internet freedom community in Africa. I feel so much has been talked about in regard to the forum, but allow me to bore you with more details, but maybe also to excite you on why we are here today and why we have such a convening and why maybe we are in Namibia. As we've already heard, the Forum on Internet Freedom, FIFA, Africa, or FIF Africa, many times some people thought it had to do with the football in Africa, but no. We are here on matters of the Forum on Internet Freedom, is an annual multi-stakeholder forum that brings together different actors in the internet landscape, because if we limit it just to internet freedom, then we take away other aspects of the internet. So we focus on promoting and defending digital rights and freedoms across the internet. We've already heard that this is our 12th forum, meaning that we first held this forum in 2014, and over years, we've been able to build and provide a unique platform where we can all come and talk about matters of the internet, things that speak to us, from digital divides, infrastructure issues, to rights, privacy, and everything in between. Here, we do not discriminate. We bring together policymakers, legislators, journalists, platform operators, ISPs, anyone in the internet space, to be able to find a way in which to craft responses for a resilient and inclusive digital society for Africa. As we've already heard from Mr. France, and I believe that most of the issues he has touched, they don't just speak to Namibia, but it is across Africa. The digital landscape in Africa is evolving at a rapid pace. But however, we have so many opportunities, including the resources he has mentioned. You know, those planes, I don't know if they're really monitoring what's underground, but we know that there are resources in most of the countries that we come from that are being used to produce the technology that we are using. So that is how rich we are as a continent. But however, these opportunities are in for us to transform in our governance structure, to build service delivery, improve service delivery, issues around health, education, and civic participation. And that's what the internet offers us as a tool. However, alongside these opportunities, we are faced with complex challenges. I was waiting to hear issues of network disruptions, famously known as internet shutdowns. These take away some of the many strides we are trying to achieve as a continent to be able to utilize or take advantage of the opportunities of the internet. However, issues of also disinformation, misinformation, fake news have become rampant, and I would not try to pinpoint to a particular stakeholder because we've all been victims, whether we have been consumers of the fake news, or at times we are also producers of this kind of information. Issues of surveillance without proper safeguards are also matters that we talk about, but also the evolving regulatory frameworks and the persistent digital divide. So we keep taking and also getting away from what we should be doing. So as a forum, FIFA Africa, we provide a platform to interrogate these realities, to shape the narratives that matter, but also to work towards an inclusive and rights-based digital society. As a community, we have grown and we keep growing each year stronger, producing evidence, narratives that influence continental and global debates. And if you've been here for the last 2 days, we've been having pre-events, and some of those events feeding into the conversations for the next 2 days as well. So we are hoping that conversations that are coming from these debates are able to influence the continent and also be able to participate in the global conversations on improving digital rights or internet freedoms in Africa. However, I would like to highlight 2 strong realities or 2 strong events that are kind of collide with this forum. Since inception, and again, before I go into that, because we've always had a question, why do we host this forum in September? It's not just a coincidence, but it is intentional. Since inception, we have served, our platform has served to recognize the International Day for Universal Access to Information, the IDUI, oh God, acronyms, but yes, I wanted to put it the acronym, but I've already given the full definition, which is celebrated every 28th. And for many of us, like I was seeing the show of hands, you realize that usually our forum is held alongside this day, September 28th, 27th, 29th. But this year, I think this date is falling on a weekend. So we decided to bring the forum a little bit closer without also us losing focus on this day. This year's theme for the International Day for Universal Access to Information is ensuring access to environmental information in the digital age. And if I recall well, the previous speakers mentioned some of those unique challenges, including climate change. So as Cipesa and partners, recognize this as one of those other issues, environmental, I was going to say environmental health, but yes, climate change as one of those issues that need to be put at the prime of internet freedom, digital rights conversations. However, unique this year also, we would like to recognize the International Week of Deaf People, which is being held in this very week that we are in, under the theme on no human rights without sign language rights. This, as Cipesa, we would like to take pride to recognize this as aspects of our programming that includes digital inclusion for persons with disabilities, and for the last 2 to 3 years, it has become a prime of our focus, and on this we are producing research evidence to be able to advocate for the rights of persons with disabilities. And here I would like to highlight one of the key documents that we've been able to produce, where we are developing a disability and accessibility framework indicators, and we've been able to document regulatory frameworks on access to information and ICTs for people with disabilities. So if you've not been able to look at this document, our most recent research was produced earlier this year, mid this year, about 2 to 3 months ago in June. I would like you to interrogate the Cipesa website and be able to see how we're recognizing this key stakeholder as part of our aspects to improving internet for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, these areas, like I've already said, are increasing informing our work, which is responsive to both the global and local concerns, especially as we live out to our mission, which is to promote inclusive and effective use of ICTs in Africa for improved governance and livelihoods. Now, as I conclude, I've had so many people ask, why Namibia? Why did we come to Namibia? Why did we skip Zimbabwe? Why did we skip South Africa, Lusaka, Malawi, and all these countries in the south? But I think we've already had that, so I'll try to summarize it, because Mr. France, I think, gave the many reasons as to why we are in Namibia today. We are in this country to celebrate the digital developments that the country has made. Most especially in the aspect of internet freedom. There's been quite a number of cases that we felt that, Namibia has been able to stand up to its the word has gone, stand up to its, Mr. France, I may need to be helped, stand up to its commitments to respecting rights in the country. One particular study here is, one particular case is the rejecting of the efforts of the Central Intelligence Service to block reporting on corruption, which was ruled as unconstitutional. Also, we have also seen that, as we've already heard, there's quite a lot of progress that the country is taking in developing and adapting digital rights regulations. We've already had the strides that the country is taking in respecting media rights, with the rankings that we've had in press freedom rankings. Despite the shortfalls, you're still maintained, so there's competition of who comes first, who comes second. I think that is something that we need to be able to compliment the country for. But also, Namibia is categorized as free when it comes to freedom in the world. And I think that is a milestone that we need to be able to, appreciate the country for. However, one of the other things that we rarely see in Africa is Namibia's strides in advancing gender inclusion in political participation, including the election of Her Excellency, the first female president, Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. So that is a very huge milestone, and to that, as we are Cipesa from East Africa, we are glad that Namibia has taken that stride in line with our brothers from Tanzania. So these positive strides make Namibia the perfect country for us to host a platform like this one that is looking at different aspects, from political participation, from media freedoms, from issues on privacy and all the like. So I'll take you through some of the themes, as we shall see in the sessions that we are all participating in. We are looking at AI, its dangers, and how does this relate to human rights, disinformation and platform accountability, internet shutdowns, definitely, digital inclusion, aspects of digital trade. How are we faring? Do we have the right frameworks? Are we able to be on the table in the global discussions? We are looking at issues of digital public infrastructure, but we also are looking at issues of digital safety and resilience. How are we building ourselves as a continent to be resilient and be able to leverage on what the internet is to offer us? Last but not least is there's quite a lot happening on the global scene, from issues of the World Summit on Internet Society, +20 review processes, and I'm happy that we are hosting this forum with the NAM IGF, and these platforms are debating on what can we achieve from platforms like the Internet Governance Forum. So we are hoping that the community here, if they're not already participating in those processes, we will be able to provide you some bit of insight in what's happening in those processes. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us engage these 2 days to address the challenges. What can we learn from them? Let's be able to have those difficult conversations, but also in the mind that we are building networks and be able to connect meaningfully. Let us commit to carrying the insights from Windhoek. If you noticed, I smiled before saying Windhoek because I think the pronunciations differ, into our communities, organizations, and countries. Let us, but above all, let us be reminded that defending internet freedom is not a one-off event, as we've seen. There are quite a number of partners who are doing this kind of work, but also it does not become a one-off event. It is a continuous struggle that we must all sustain together. So, on behalf of Cipesa and my team, Mr. France, I'm not Dr. Wairagara. Dr. Wairagara is somewhere around. But also, we have a huge delegation of Cipesa. The lights are a bit blinding, but they are somewhere behind there. They are seated in the audience. So I would like to perhaps have the Cipesa people wave a bit so that people can recognize you. Thank you. So on behalf of Cipesa and the team, I would like to take this opportunity once again to thank our hosts here in Namibia, the Ministry of ICT, the Namibia IGF, NAM IGF, our community of partners who have helped bring this event alive, but most importantly, to you, the participants, who are going to be here for the next 2 days, but who have been here for the last couple of days, 2 to 3. You've traveled near and far to make this forum possible. So thank you very much. Together, let's make this forum a defining moment in the journey of defending digital rights and internet freedoms in Africa. Welcome once again, and let us all be the experience in growing internet freedom community in Africa. Once again, welcome to the 14th Forum on Internet Freedom in Africa, and welcome to Namibia, welcome to Windhoek. Thank you.
You can give her a better hand clap than that. Thank you very much, Lillian. Thank you very much, Cipesa, for organizing us, for organizing this space. We are glad to be here. If you came in after the official welcome was done, you have heard from Lillian. She has welcomed you. But if you want me to repeat the welcome, you're very welcome. We acknowledge that you came late. We will not blame you. We will blame the transport. You can't blame traffic jam in Namibia. In other countries, you can use the traffic jam excuse. Here, you cannot. They told us there are about 3-point-something million people. The whole country, 3 million. Some of you have 3 million borders. No, sorry. I apologize. I apologize. Did you hear somebody say, Namibia is the city of many faces? 3 million people. Many faces? Okay, I believe you. Welcome to the 2025 Forum on Internet Freedom in Africa, here in Windhoek, a city whose name is synonymous with freedom of expression and the historic Windhoek Declaration. So if you're asking yourself the question, why Namibia? Now you know why. Now think about your country. I don't know what we shall say is your country is popular for when we come there. I did mention that our presence here is powered by partners, and you saw a number of partners displayed on the screen. And I'd like to invite to the podium a very special, partner that has made this possible and continues to support the expansion of digital freedoms in Africa. The EU delegation in Namibia. The ambassador is represented by the head of cooperation, Mr. Alexander Baron. Please welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, good morning. My name is Alex. I'm the head of cooperation for the EU here in Namibia. And it's an honor to stand with you this morning for the launch of the 12th edition of FIFA Africa 2025. This forum reminds us of a simple truth. The battle for digital rights is global, but Africa is very often at the front lines. Across the continent, journalists, activists, and innovators like you defend freedoms under enormous pressures. You push back against shutdowns, against disinformation, against surveillance. You fight for inclusion, for safety, and for dignity. In doing so, you are not only shaping Africa's future, you are shaping the future of the global digital order. So we heard it. It's not a coincidence that this forum is taking place here in Namibia, and we're all looking up to Namibia for its commitments to freedom, to the free media landscape, and to its commitment to human-centered digital transformation. We Europeans also share the belief that the same rights that we defend offline must equally be protected online. But we all know how difficult this is in practice. Within the EU, we also face very hard debates on digital rights protection. For example, many of you may be familiar with the ongoing discussions in Europe around chat control, around client-side scanning, which show how deeply we also struggle to reconcile, in that case, child protection with the fundamental right to privacy. In Africa, you're also facing the same dilemmas every day. That's why we have to have this exchange both ways. We Europeans may have experiences to share, especially when it comes to policy and regulation, but we also have so much to learn from Africa's innovation and resilience in defending digital rights under adversity. I was privileged to witness this firsthand in my previous posting in Nairobi, Kenya, where I was in charge of the cooperation on digital transformation. And since Mr. Bond has been teasing Kenyans a lot this morning already, I would just like to give a shout out to all the Kenyans here in the room. I appreciate you, and I dearly miss Nairobi and Kenyans. So thanks for being here today. So let me be clear. The European Union's offer is different from the other models that compete in the world of the digital transformation. There are approaches that use technology for control, built on surveillance, on censorship, or manipulation. That is not the European vision. The EU stands for a rights-based, human-centered model of digitalization. We believe that rights are the backbone of trust in digital transformation. Without rights, there is no trust. And without trust, there is no sustainable digital economy. So that's the added value of Europe's regulatory frameworks. I'm sure you know the General Data Protection Regulation, protecting privacy, the Digital Services Act, demanding accountability from platforms, and more recently, the AI Act, the world's first comprehensive rules to ensure that artificial intelligence is safe, fair, and human-centered. These are not abstract laws. They are tools for protecting people. We believe that such frameworks can inspire our cooperation with Africa to develop solutions adapted to local realities. Let me pause on AI for a second, because I understand that you will be discussing this later on this morning around AI governance. We all know the potential of AI, and let's admit it, we all love using it. But without safeguards, it can also increase inequalities, threaten labor rights, and undermine human dignity. We saw that in places like Kenya, for instance, or Madagascar. And on this, the EU is clear. AI must be safe, fair, and human-centered. The AI Act sets rules to ensure that high-risk systems are transparent, accountable, and respect fundamental rights. So I invite you here in particular to look at closely how Kenya is currently building up its AI strategy, regulations, and homegrown ecosystem with our strong EU support, in particular through the Digital Transformation Center. Africa must not only be a consumer of AI, and AI should not turn into a new extractive industry where big tech exploits cheap and highly skilled African workforce. Africa must be a developer, a regulator, and a standard setter in artificial intelligence. By aligning innovation with rights, Africa can leapfrog into the digital economy that is inclusive, transparent, and resilient, setting a global example on how AI can serve people rather than control them. Principles need to be matched with resources as well. That's why at the EU, through our Global Gateway strategy, we are investing heavily in Africa's digital future. From secure connectivity to digital public infrastructure, from skills and innovation to digital governance. But what sets our investments apart is not only the scale of our investments, it's the foundation. They are guided by rights, by transparency, and by partnerships. Our digital governance programs and partnerships with over 200 civil society organizations across Africa strengthen the institutional frameworks necessary to protect online rights. They undertake vital work defending digital rights, fighting against internet restrictions, promoting digital literacy, and building networks of digital rights defenders. Indeed, the internet is too important to be left to governments alone or to companies alone. What made the internet infrastructure so resilient in its history is its foundation on a multi-stakeholder governance, which must be preserved. And this forum is doing just that. By bringing together regulators, activists, journalists, and innovators, it demonstrates that good digital governance is built through dialogue, inclusion, and collaboration. We saw earlier this week workshops like the one hosted by Civil Society Alliances for Digital Empowerment, how digital rights advocacy, for instance, through the UPR, can lead to very high quality submissions. In that case, for instance, on Liberia, Malawi, Rwanda, or Namibia. Here, I would like to especially commend how the African Parliamentary Network on Internet Governance and CSOs are advocating together for digital rights and human rights. In Uganda, we see how Honorable Sarah Opendi, a distinguished member of parliament, has transformed the legislative landscape around internet governance in close partnership with Cipesa. These are only two examples of many examples that this forum is bringing forward. As I conclude, allow me to leave my diplomatic hat aside for a second and share with you more of a geeky reference. There is a concept that I really love and I think encapsulates the challenges that we face, which is the concept of enshittification. I'm sure you heard of this concept that refers to how platforms evolve and decrease in quality. I think this concept of enshittification is really the one that also encapsulates all the challenges that we face in Africa and in the world, basically. So what do we do? Again, allow me to quote one of my favorite TV shows that is called The IT Crowd. I'm sure many of you know this show. If you don't, I really recommend that you watch it. And there is a very inspirational quote from Roy in The IT Crowd, who wisely said, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" So in front of enshittification, I think the answer is often simple. We should return to the first principles of the internet, defend rights, and work together. So let's reboot the internet together so it's truly free, safe, and open for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those remarks from the EU delegation in Namibia, and thank you for all the support that you give. We're going to go straight into our high-level panel discussion. I am aware that we've been seated for a while, and it is not yet coffee time. So I am going to ask that we stand for the next 60 seconds. You have a notebook next to you. Oh, before I make people stand, the head of corporation mentioned the Honorable Sarah Opendi, and many of you do not know her. I know the Honorable Sarah Opendi. If you could please stand so that we can clap for you. We recognize the great work that you're doing. And we know that we can rely on your support. You also highlighted the great work that's happening in Kenya, and I know many of us will be going back and just, benchmarking, because there definitely is a lot for us to learn. All right, so you have notebooks on your tables. Get a fresh page on your notebook. For the next 60 seconds, you're going to go around the room, find a person who is from a different country, and let's see in 60 seconds who can have the most countries. Now, don't write them yourself. Find a person. If they're from a country that you don't have on your book yet, they write their name and their country. You see, you were ready to cheat. And you want free and fair elections. See yourself. Are you ready? Are you ready? Hold on, don't get up yet. No, you people. Eish. And then you think it's easy to run an election in Africa. People are already writing, wait. I am the head of the Independent Electoral Commission here today. Do you have the BBC track? It actually is exactly 60 seconds. Do you have it? Do you have it? The BBC track? Someone is already on country number 7. And then they will say the ballot boxes came when they were open. We see you. All right, the 60 seconds start now. You can stand up. 60 seconds. You get a name and the country. 50 seconds. You may want to stand up. 30 seconds. I see people are using a color thing here. If your skin is not like mine, then you are from another. Hey, okay. 20 seconds. Ten seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Campaigning time is over. Put your pens down. Whatever you add from this point will not change your marks. All right, let's have everybody go back to their seat. Everybody back to your seat. Everybody back to your seat. Everybody back to your seat. Let's see. Who got more than 5 countries? Okay. Who got more than 10 countries? More than 10. They have to be actual countries, eh? Yeah. Zootopia does not. Wakanda, no. Who got more than 10 countries? 10. You got more than 10? Anybody else more than 10? Okay. Let me get your list and read the countries that you have. Let's see. You're petitioning, eh? Politicians. Okay. I see Liberia, Kenya, Morocco, Uganda, Malawi, Angola, Spain, Zimbabwe. Is that more than 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cameroon, 9. There's what? Oh, no, that's Angola. Yes. So those are 9. No, don't add Wakanda. Does anyone have more than 9? It's 10, huh? Which is the 10th? Okay, she has 10. Okay, you win. I guarantee. Oh, there's actually a gift. I didn't know about gifts. Hey, no, I have 13 countries. I have 13. I didn't know there were gifts. That's just to let you know that there's many countries represented here. And there's also many other categories of people represented here. You did hear that we have people from the diplomatic community. We have ministers and senior government officials. We have national regulators, data protection authorities, civil society leaders, grassroots activists, media professionals, journalists, coders, developers, tech innovators, lawyers, human rights defenders, academics, researchers, donors of all kinds, private sector, and we have you. Yeah, if I didn't say your category, yeah, you just add it. So this is definitely going to be a rich conversation. We cannot have all those categories represented here during this high-level panel, but we definitely have a team that is well-grounded. The panel will be looking at charting the path ahead for AI and governance in Africa. So whether you call it AI or you call it A1, who remembers that one? Or you call it AI, if you say that in my language, that is salt. We're talking about artificial intelligence. Across the continent, artificial intelligence is moving from theory to daily reality. It's transforming healthcare, agriculture, finance, education, and public services. Yet with this promise comes profound questions. How do we ensure AI is ethical? Just like the representative from the Ministry of ICT said. How do we ensure that it's inclusive? Like the representative from the EU delegation said. And how do we ensure that Africa is not just importing, Africa is not just a bystander? The panel is going to help me examine trends, challenges, and opportunities that are shaping our digital landscape. So please join me in inviting to the podium our panelists. First, from the Ministry of ICT in Namibia, Mr. Frank Gihitila, from the Directorate of Print Media Affairs. Welcome back to the stage. From Uganda, we have a regulator, the head of litigation at the Uganda Communications Commission, Dr. Abdusalam Waiswa. Mr. Abdusalam, if you could come to the stage. I think they will come faster if you clap for them. Yeah, it usually works. I'd also like to invite to the stage the National Coordinator, Human Rights in Developing Technology, South African Human Rights Commission, Dr. Aileen Carter. And then a Senior Manager, Data Privacy, Privacy, Flutterwave, Abby Ipoyun. You see, the clapping works. And from Cipesa, the Executive Director, Dr. Wairagala Wakabi. Welcome. Fantastic. Each of you has a microphone. I apologize that because of time, we'll move quite quickly, but some of the things that we hope to delve into during this panel discussion is really examining trends, challenges, and opportunities that are shaping our digital landscape through the lens of AI and governance. And you definitely have heard from the lineup that we have the right people to take us through that discussion. I'd like to ask each of the panelists, and I think we'll start over here and we'll just go all the way down, to just start by giving us your initial thoughts. I will just give you an open-ended one to start with, just give us brief insights related to this theme, charting the path ahead for AI governance in Africa. I will start with you, Mr. Franz, and then we'll go.
Yes. Well, as I said earlier, we call this era the fourth industrial revolution. And like all other revolutions, they require specific or special approach for us to survive into this era. The AI, it's something that really everybody's talking about. And if we are not careful, we are not prepared as nations and countries, some of us might not survive. You have a number of individuals or people losing their jobs. Companies are replacing human beings with tools that are able to do mass production. So it's quite a number of things. That's why as Namibia as a country, we have already started with the AI draft bill, which we think soon will see the light in Parliament. And the whole idea is to protect our people in a way and in a manner that we survive this revolution. And I think that's the premises under which we are taking these discussions.
Can I just have, thank you. Thank you very much. I will go to your neighbor, Mr. Abdusalam, Dr. Abdusalam.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege for me to speak before you at such a high-level panel. From Uganda, I would say that indeed AI has created a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. And like my colleague has already noted, in this digital revolution, there is a lot that is yet to be known about what it is that we are dealing with. So AI, to many of us in Africa, and not just Africa, but the whole world, is still an animal that is not well defined. Its full scope is not yet well appreciated by everybody. So most people, and I can't speak for Uganda, we recognize that AI is here with us now. The train is running. We can't stop it. We must get wise of how we can fit and dance to the music. The question is, how fast should we adopt? How fast should we develop frameworks and policies? Many countries have already moved steps further to even develop bills. The EU has come up with an AI Act. There are many strategies being developed across Africa. But for many of us in Africa, the question I want to pose to you, are we ready to develop robust and tangible frameworks and laws on AI? Do we have sufficient knowledge? Do we have sufficient data and statistics to inform our decision making? Are we ready to begin legislating on this new idea? From my own perspective, I keep saying, and as a lawyer, I keep calming down communities that laws are supposed to come out of processes that emanate from people. I am an avid believer in the sociological school of thought of law that believes that laws should become a natural phenomenon that should develop with society, that advocates for laws to take a natural progression as opposed to picking laws from other territories and imposing them on your people. So my appeal to all of us in Africa, that even as we welcome AI and adopt it, and we must adopt it, no one should scare us. But I just want us to become careful as we rush to write laws and policies on AI. Can we please try to resist the temptation to copy and paste models from EU, from the US, from China, and try to apply those to our people? On a continent where only about 38% of our people have access to internet. In a country like Uganda, where most of our people are surviving on agriculture, they cannot afford a smartphone. They don't have capacity to use a computer. Where should our priorities be? Writing laws or building their capacity? My appeal to all of us, let us prioritize building our people's capacity, preparing their mindset to, one, adopt AI. Be careful as they use it. Take time to study the models, research our own scenarios, and develop frameworks that speak to our people, not frameworks that are duplicating models that could have worked in EU, in China, in other countries, not Africa. That, in my view, is the message that we need to draw from this. Can we pause and understand what it is that we are getting with? Thank you.
Thank you very much. You even got a clap. The journalist in me wanted to ask a follow-up question, but I will go to Doctor.
Thank you so much. I think what I can do is to echo what my fellow panelists have already outlined, but I want to emphasize that yes, this train is moving, and I want to challenge us to be the conductors of this train in the region. Yes to capacity, yes to infrastructure, and yes to innovation, but it should not be either or. We have the capacity in the region to have innovation living side by side, what I want to posit here today and what has already been reflected here today, with human rights foundations. So perhaps we have an accountability gap currently. We are chasing towards developing strategies, frameworks, and I would say every think tank is busy assessing where's Africa, where are the countries in terms of these strategies and frameworks. But mine would be to ask, where are we in superimposing existing language on issues that we should frame as human rights foundational concerns, and not necessarily new concerns. These issues, if we frame and use human rights language, it becomes clear that AI is a threat, AI is opportunity, but AI, if we frame it within a human rights-based foundational approach, we may perhaps already have solutions. So coming from South Africa, I also represent a national human rights institution, but more so, I represent national human rights institutions within the region. We stand firmly to say that perhaps we don't necessarily need to rush into developing and adopting these regulatory frameworks which does not understand the African context. We do not need to superimpose what is already available because we are pressured into adopting and adapting. Maybe it is time for us to reflect on what we have in place. And ours is to say, AI issues are human rights issues. Access to remote education and remote learning is an access to education issue. Harassment, hate speech, it's deepfakes. Disinformation is an access to information and civil and political rights. And it threatens the rights that we are already accustomed to. So perhaps it is time for us, and to echo what the delegation from the EU mentioned, to reboot, to go back to what is it that we know as a continent. What threats are we able to identify through this lens? Because perhaps we even have the solutions already at hand. Now mine, I've had the privilege to attend 2 days of deliberations where we were training national human rights institution representatives on AI. And I can tell you that the threat of disinformation on the continent is large. I can tell you that colleagues around the table said, but knowledge capacity might be a big concern for us, because how do we roll out what we don't know? How do we capacitate? And do we capacitate at ground level up or from top down? And again, perhaps we need to consider whether we can't have both, whether we can't live with these realities simultaneously, because we don't have time, the train is moving. But certainly we should be conducting the direction of this train. And ours is to say, let's keep our eyes on human rights as the compass while we develop all of these strategies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Elaine. In fact, you've touched on the question I wanted to ask. Can't we do both? And thank you very much. Over to you, Abby.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So for me, I think AI is pretty interesting, right? I see it both as a blessing. I don't want to say I see it as a curse, because I feel like if it's properly governed and people have a very good understanding of responsible data use, it should not be too much of a problem. You find that even in the current realities that everybody or almost everybody has even made, you've made your AI assistant your therapist, your best friend. You know, you have a problem, you just run to your AI assistant. It's even almost replacing critical thinking for a lot of people, because you know you want to do something, you ask a question, how do I do this, how do I do that? But then in doing all of this, you don't realize how much of your data is being harvested, transferred, saved, moved across multiple borders. So until we, even as individuals, understand that responsible data use, it will be very difficult to even properly govern it. In Africa, we're still playing catch up, right? There are a lot of countries today that don't even have privacy laws. There are a lot of regulators that are not, don't have the capacity to even properly enforce this thing. So before we even move to AI at all, there's still a lot to fix in terms of data governance, managing data, managing organizations on responsible use of data as well. And as individuals, it's necessary to also understand that, I mean, before you go on a social media app to take a picture, put the use some sort of filter that gives you a beard or gives you, you know, sunglasses and things like that, you need to also understand how much of your data is being passed on to regions that you do not even know. So for me, I'm more particular about responsible data use, responsible use of AI before you even move to governance. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Before you put your microphone down, I'm sorry. The journalist in me has won this debate because I wanted to go to the next person. But yes, I do hear you. But Dr. Elaine just mentioned this train is moving. So even as we fix some of those structural problems that already exist, what do we do about the train that's moving? Because it's not going to wait. And we risk getting onto the train when a lot of damage has been done.
All right, absolutely. So don't misquote me. We need to actually govern these things. And that's why I said that a lot of countries, first of all, don't have privacy laws. So it's important that as we're putting those laws in place, AI is also being factored in. So today, there are a lot of privacy laws that have a hint of, reference to profiling, reference to data subjects not being subject to automated decision making and things like that. But it's also necessary that as that train is moving, so I'm going to take it from 4 different angles because I see 4 different parties. I see individuals who are providing the information. I see organizations that are collecting this information. I see regulators and I see the government. So it's necessary that all of those parties actually understand where they come in. So as individuals are managing their responsible use of data, organizations are ensuring that they're factoring in controls as they collect this information. And regulators also need to make sure that these organizations are properly regulated Also keeping in mind that there has to be a balance between innovation and compliance so that there is also no over-regulation there, because as that train is moving, innovation is happening. And then for governments to also make sure that there is some sort of support. So it is a collaborative effort. But again, that was not to say that we should stop on governance, but it's just important that it moves, just like you said, from the ground all the way up.
Thank you, thank you. Dr. Wakabi? Boss, you chose the wrong microphone to be faulty.
Okay.
Perfect.
Working now. Thank you very much. Unanisikia? Can you hear me? Good. So, I think we need to understand AI. We need to harness AI. We need to invest in AI. At the moment, we are not doing sufficiently in all those aspects. Keep doing that is looking at the dual impacts of AI. On the one hand, what are the values that we can harness from AI? On the other, what are the risks that AI poses and the challenges that stand in the way of harnessing AI for public good? As we sit here, many of us care a lot about inclusivity, about technology serving everyone, including and especially those that are excluded, that are marginalized normally. When you look at the investments, both in awareness, in research and development, in deployment of AI today, even in policymaking, it does not reflect, for the most part, the commitment of government in terms of proactively harnessing the power of AI to benefit society. Tomorrow, Cipesa will be launching a report called The State of Internet Freedom in Africa. This year, we are focusing on the implications of AI for digital governance in Africa. As you see in that report, one, governments are hardly doing anything in terms of investments, either in innovating for AI, either in scaling AI innovations, or documenting use cases and taking them up significantly. But also in the area of policy development, just a handful of countries, less than 1/3, have come up with policies. None of our countries actually has an act. Even those that have come up with policies and strategies are hardly implementing them. And what is the process in which these strategies or policies, where they've been made, has gone through? Hardly have they been sufficiently multi-stakeholder consultative processes. A lot of the time, they are top-down policy development processes. We have the African Union, the Continental AI Strategy, which has laid out very clear human rights-centered principles: inclusivity, transparency, etc., which offers actually very good guidance that our countries should take up in terms of developing their own policies and implementing them. But we have not seen sufficient uptake of that in the policy development processes that we have so far seen in the handful of countries in Africa that have come up with the policies. Policy development is not the main thing that we should be looking at. It should be investment. It should be what's the capacity, the knowledge, the awareness to understand, to develop, to research, to provide oversight. All those elements, as we stand today, are missing in the majority of African countries, including the handful that we have said have developed these strategies. So, the dual impacts of AI, let's look at them. AI has done a lot in terms of enabling accountability, okay, social accountability, in enabling social actors and even government entities to come up with policies that are responsive to the needs of communities, because they've been able to use AI to analyze large data sets, for instance, or collect large amounts of data. AI is enabling us to, for instance, debunk, fight disinformation, which is one of the risks enabled by AI. AI is enabling greater productivity in private enterprises and other sectors.
Yeah.
So let's focus on that as I complete, but let's also address in a proactive manner, in a multi-stakeholder manner, the risks that are posed by the introduction of AI, which are significant.
Okay. Well, there's the whole issue of prioritizing. We do not have much time, but from what you've heard from the other panelists, no one is okay. Oh, I needed some background music for what I was saying, right? No one is saying that nothing should be done, but there's the issue of prioritizing. What should come first? A lot of this conversation is going to continue in various, rooms that we have, various conversations. So go to the app and see which conversation you want to be a part of. We cannot exhaust everything here, but I'd just like to ask the panelists, what should come first from where you sit? We know definitely, as a regulator, as long as you talk about regulation, there's already suspicion, because many times that comes out as control. We have heard from the Ministry of ICT some of the things that are being done, but you have heard that there's exclusion, of vulnerable groups, young people. Then, there is the cost. There is so much going on at the same time. There are risks. Some people are highlighting the risks, others highlighting the benefits. So let's just do this one more time and a bit quicker. Where do we start? I will start.
You mind if I go first?
Oh, okay. Let's come this way. Let's reverse. Yeah.
Thank you. It's investment. And that investment should not only be monetary. That investment should be in creating capacity, should be in creating goodwill, that as a government, as a society, we are committed to harnessing the value of AI. We do not have a sufficient capacity in terms of understanding, regulating AI, having oversight over AI, auditing AI. That's one component. So let's invest in that. But let's also invest in use cases, invest in AI innovations, and scale them.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, Abi. I come from a young people's organization, making young people central, the heart of everything. I hope by the time we reach here, somebody will have mentioned young people. And this is Africa, where they're the majority.
All right, so I think that it's also important to factor in the lack of centralized databases, as an example, and technology tools. So one concern, I work in the financial industry, right? And one concern that I see or I have is that as a financial company, you're subject to the various laws. So you have to do some sort of anti-money laundering checks and things like that. Now, to do those things, you want to know your customer. You have to collect their ID, run checks on the ID to be sure that you can onboard this customer. But there's hardly any company within Africa that has a comprehensive database today. So it means that you have to partner with a foreign organization because you provide the information, especially when you work across multiple markets, right? So it's necessary that we start to consider proper digitization, development of tools that also factor in the African peculiarities and the African society. He touched on, my colleague here touched on capacity building. That's extremely important across all levels, because from the aspect of the regulators, it's a bit difficult to regulate what you do not understand. So it's okay to not know so much right now because things are evolving, things are developing, but that capacity building is extremely important. So that's the second thing. Digital literacy is another issue. A lot of people provide information and do not even understand what you're consenting to. So sometimes I find that I'm, having conversations, maybe I'm talking about food or jollof rice, which is a meal that is very popular in West Africa. And I get on a social media platform and I'm seeing jollof rice. I don't know if it happens to people here, or you're talking about a particular fabric and you see things like this. So it shows you that even basic knowledge of this kind of privacy settings that you can put on your phone. Are you enabling your location services, for instance, for a game? Why does a game need your location? Are you enabling your microphone for maybe a banking app and things like that? So capacity building is important, again, at all levels, and collaboration. I think those are the major things, so I don't dwell so much.
Thank you very much. Tai Chi for men above 40. Those are the ones that are coming to. Yes, please.
Thank you so much. I do think we must be cautious in terms of saying either or. These concepts have to live next to each other. We cannot speak innovation without speaking protection. We cannot have the one without the other because that scapegoats investment. That scapegoats investment to put human rights aside for what we've seen through each revolution, in each industrial revolution, for the sake of development, or what is sold to the continent as development, only 2 years later be faced with the violations of what this development entailed. So mine would be for us in the next few days to remember these two live side by side. It is not the one or the other, but what do we do in the meantime? That is what we need to ask. So there's an accountability gap that we've already outlined here this morning. So what do we have in place? Do we have regulators in place yet? Or can we revert to oversight organizations such as national human rights institutions to fill that gap in the meantime? Capacitate these institutions to be the oversight, to be the catching if we do not have the capacity yet to point out where the pertinent risks are. So mine would be to say, let's identify what we have in place. There are beautiful global principles already in place that we need to progressively interpret to apply in the AI age. But we are not left without remedy. We have countries, African countries, who have ratified instruments that are binding, that can already be reverted to when we are scared about redress, when we are scared about violations. So let us not have two concepts live foreign from each other. Let us be sure that we never leave human rights out of the purview when we speak about innovation. Because as the region we know, innovation without human rights is going to be leading to exploitation. And we need to be very sure in our language so that we never leave the one out of the other. And just as a footnote on that, collaboration and coordination. My colleagues have mentioned it here this morning. It is of utmost importance because as the region, and sometimes we would say by design, it is used against us that certain elements of civil society, government stakeholders and institutions and regulators are not combined in their approach. So let's strengthen that. Let's make use of what we have. And let's not speak the one language without pertinently referring to human rights through the other.
Thank you very much. From the panelists that we've already had, you have had very many quotable quotes. Please remember, if you are posting on any platform, use the hashtags FIFA Africa 25 and hashtag Internet Freedom Africa so that we have a wider conversation. Yes, Dr. Abdul Salam.
Okay, so in my view, everything can be ranked important. But in terms of priority, in my view, we need to focus on investing in digital infrastructure. Because we cannot talk about AI without critical digital infrastructure. In many of our countries where we have less than 40% of our people with access to electricity, where less than 30% of our population have access to smartphones, where people cannot use computers, where broadband access is still minimal, where the cost of the internet is high, where smartphones cannot be afforded because of taxation.
Okay.
And
what do we do for the 40% that are already connected?
So for the 40%, now the 40%, there is no vacuum. My colleague has already noted. Most of our countries already have many laws, many policies on digital transformation, on computer misuse. There are many international instruments on use of technology, which I believe, based on my research, can sufficiently protect and punish whoever misuses technology, even without a law titled Artificial Intelligence Act, like many countries are moving. If you use laws like computer misuse, if you use the data protection laws in many of our African countries, if you use the existing cybersecurity laws and frameworks, you can address many of the ills that we are complaining about.
Even when all these you've considered were passed before AI became what it is?
No.
You think they were sufficiently covered?
You know, in legislation, you don't write a law for now. The best way to legislate is to write laws that are broad in scope, that they can cater for today's challenges and tomorrow's anticipated challenges. So I can assure you that most of our African countries have laws on data protection, have laws on cybersecurity, have laws on computer misuse, and these laws already have provisions that can punish any misuse. Now, where are we missing? As you know, based on the ITU report last year, on average, Africa's broadband access is at about 38%, below the global average of 68%. Now, in a continent where most of our people are excluded from the digital envelope, it's very difficult for you to tell this person about AI when they have not even learned how to use MS Word. Where is the data that the AI is going to analyze about Africa? Where are the data centers? Many African countries are legislating and talking about data localization. Many countries are saying we cannot allow our data to go to China, to go to the US. But when you're signing on apps like ChatGPT, on Facebook, on X, on TikTok, I mean, you're voluntarily uploading your information. Do you know where the data centers are for all these apps? Can you even say that because I don't have a data center in my country, therefore I should not, for example, use TikTok? So what we need to do as African countries, in my view, can we fast track our initiatives towards improving investment in digital infrastructure?
Okay. Well,
if we do that, then issues of capacity are going to come. For example, do we have any African countries that are now focusing on scholarships for African scholars to go and study and research on technology and AI? We send them to China. We send them to the US. EU, we want to hear of offers that you're taking 50 African scholars to go and study AI governance. Then those people that will have studied from China, from India, from US, from the UK, they come back to Africa and then think on way through which they can domesticate and localize whatever they learned from China for them to solve the real problems in Uganda, in Windhoek, in Harare. That can only be done by Africans after they have acquired the knowledge, but also where they have infrastructure, internet, cheap internet, and reliable power that can allow them to use the computer. I mean, even if you have super AI laws, but you don't have electricity, can you talk about AI? Can it give you food? Can it give you direction when your phone is off because you don't have power? Those are critical priorities, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, thank you. I am sure 1,000,001 questions could have come, but I'm sorry, we need to bring this to a close.
Yes. The train is it's going. Maybe we must stop it. then you stop it. Where do you go from there? This is it's a global challenge. The nature of IA, whatever you call it, it's a borderless story. And the more you don't capacitate your people, the more you are left behind. The young people, like, for example, in Namibia, how many of them are taking education at a different level, like what my colleague is alluding to. We really need to not just talk, we need to walk the talk. Governments all over Africa need to invest in infrastructure. More so creating more data center. But even if you create data center, who will man those data centers if your young people are not capacitated? So we really have to increase education and awareness, and also creating more infrastructure and allowing our people access. It's the issue of equity, particularly when you deal with our people in the villages. Do they know what we are talking about? Many people don't know, and they are being abused. So only through capacity, awareness, and infrastructure creations all over. Of course, it requires also decisive leadership and vision. Otherwise, we're not getting anywhere. That's why as Namibia, we already have a readiness assessment report. It was launched. And we have started with the data protection bill, also along the bill for AI. So we rather start doing what we are talking about.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, in no way did we attempt to answer all the questions. We just wanted to raise your appetite for all the conversations that are going to be going on. So please join me in appreciating our panel. We would have loved to have questions from you, but we will have the questions in the various rooms. Our panelists, thank you very much. I think we'd like you to stand over here for a photograph, and then you will go back to your seats. You may want to get closer together. Your views may not be the same, but we are all part of the same community to improve. I think it is, don't worry, you will see them online and you will know. Yeah, it's AI, yeah? Excellent. Thank you very much. Please clap for them as they take their seats. You probably have heard the name Andrew Gole. If you haven't heard that name, you have a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, let's focus on the screens. And for those that do not know who Andrew Gole is, you will soon know.
We are doing what we call a road to FIFA Africa 25, which will be in Windhoek, Namibia. This road trip is going to be by motorcycle, as you can see the bike. It's not the first time this bike has gone for FIFA Africa. The first time was in 2022, that was in Lusaka, Zambia. The second time was in 2023, that was in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And this time round is going to be in Windhoek, Namibia. Now, this road trip is going to take me through quite a number of countries. Starting from Uganda, we're going to enter into Kenya. In Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi. From Malawi, we enter Zimbabwe through Mozambique. From Zimbabwe, we enter Botswana. And then from Botswana, straight into Namibia. That is the going. Then coming back, we'll pass through Zambia. And from Zambia, we'll enter Tanzania again. In Tanzania, we enter Rwanda. And then Rwanda, back into Uganda. The whole journey will take about 35 days. Going is going to be 13 days to Namibia, but then coming back is more relaxed because there's no pressure. We want to do a lot of activities along the way, so no need to rush the journey. And in total, it's going to be about 13,000 kilometers actually. Now, the purpose of this road trip, just like the previous two editions, is to spread that digital security gospel, talking about digital rights, talking about internet freedom, talking about online safety. And this is mainly targeting organizations which work in these countries that I will be passing through, but then also every other person that will be interested in knowing what I'm doing, why I'm doing this kind of road trip, because this knowledge at the end of the day, it benefits all of us.
That wasn't loud enough because you cannot see the person. But ladies and gentlemen, invite to the stage Mr. Andrew Gole himself. There he is. Come on, come on, come on. You did not ride here. You came by plane. So clap for the man. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I think you can all see the excitement on my face. It's my first time in Namibia, and I'm so excited to be in this country. I'm so happy to be here for FIFA Africa 25. The journey has been very long, but it has been very rewarding. I'm happy to be here once again because the message which brought me all along was spreading awareness about internet freedom, digital rights, and safety. And, the road trip has had its ups and downs, but at the end of the day, met so many organizations, had so many discussions on digital security, internet freedom. In Kenya, I met organizations like Internet, Tanzania, Jamii Forums, Media Convergence, but also we met other people, because when you talk about internet freedom, it benefits everyone, not just civil society organizations. But all this was made possible by the support of Cipesa for taking the step to support this road trip again, but also other partners like Access Now, Defenders, and the entire team at DigSec Initiative who made it possible. I might have been alone on the ride, but there was a whole team following, cheering me on, and ensuring that I'm safe at all times. I faced so many challenges that maybe we can have informal conversations after this, but finally I want to say that this has been very rewarding for me for the work I do as a digital security evangelist. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Digital security evangelist. And the message is so clear. We acknowledge and we really celebrate you for what you are doing. Not many can do what you have done. And we'll continue to follow you, Andrew. Ladies and gentlemen, when you meet him in the corridors, just encourage him because he needs that encouragement. And just like he said, there are many challenges, just like we find challenges on this route to, having more digital security and enjoyment of digital rights, just like the panel was talking about. You realize that now I have gone into gear 5 because we have got to go to our breakout rooms. I'm just going to invite one more person to the stage. I'd like to invite Zoe Titus, Executive Director of NMT Media Foundation, to come to the stage. We'll let you know exactly what's going to happen from this point on.
This one. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the land of the brave. Mine will be very short and sweet. We don't have the visuals with us now. We had a bit of a technical problem, but I'm here to tell you very briefly about the media and digital policy course that we have. Later, during the program and during the 2 days that you will be sharing with us, we will share the barcode. Please go online. This is a free course. And in addition to that, well, it's a free course because we hope that as many of you will take it. It teaches the foundations of digital policy, media policy. But for those who are interested, you can earn a University of Stellenbosch certificate. So we'll give away the opportunity later during the course of this event to 2 lucky winners of a free upgrade of the course for your University of Stellenbosch course. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That opportunity will be going to 2 people. I know it's going to be very hard to choose, So I can simplify it for you. I can be the first person. Then you'll just look for one more person. Ladies and gentlemen, please invite a team from Cipesa to the stage to do something very, very special. Invite means clap. Aha.
Good morning, everybody. We're into afternoon. We've had a very energetic, very insightful afternoon, rather morning, today. And for that, let us have a round of applause for the many people who have been on stage. We may be slightly running short of time, but before we go forward, we wanted to recognize a few people. One of those being Andrew, who has put his body, his mind, his soul, and everything about him to travel that distance. Thank you very much. Andrew, please come collect this. And while, do you hear me? Hello? Hello? Am I talking to myself? Fantastic. What's an event without without a glitch? But while Andrew is coming here, we also want to take a moment to recognize somebody else. Perhaps a team, and that team is the Digital Society of Africa. The Digital Society Africa is the one that birthed the idea of having a run for the forum. Tawanda Mugari and his team have been very amazing in that respect. Thank you. Something that folk may not know is that Tawanda shipped his bicycle from Zimbabwe to Windhoek to make sure he rode out to meet Gole along the way and accompany him back into Windhoek. That is very amazing. And Tawanda would like to recognize you. The whole team actually can come out here. Let's see you all. And after riding his bike, chasing a motorbike, Tawanda still went on the run yesterday. So that level of energy is what we're calling the B experience that we're looking for at the forum. So we want everybody to be the experience, live the forum, live the energy, and bring your thoughts, your ideas to the same level that Tawanda has brought his body, his mind, his everything to the forum. So to you all, thank you very much. This is for Team Digital Security Africa. And to Andrew Gole. Thank you very much. And to everybody, welcome once again to Namibia.
Thank you very much. As she was saying, we have somebody else special to recognize. I'm sure all of you were thinking it was you or waiting to hear your name, and it eventually didn't come. Don't feel bad. I was also in the same boat. I was waiting for my name to come up. Now, you have been told to be the experience. It is your turn to be recognized, and that is going to happen in the breakout rooms. Ladies and gentlemen, as you get out, I'd like to request that we actually get out using the exits on this side of the room, because the team has a package for each of you, and you can only get it if you go this way. Now, of course, because I've said go this way, guess which way the Kenyans are going to go? Ladies and gentlemen, go be the experience and enjoy your breakout sessions.
shambo, shoveno shambo, shambo shakambote. Eo 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 shambo, shoveno shambo, shambo shakambote.